following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA network.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the WZWA Network's review show here of AEW Full Gear. I'm one of your hosts, Karlifornia, alongside my co-host here, Jooseyboy. What's going on, bro? That's a fresh shave you've got going on, man.
Oh, thank you so much. It feels nice, smooth as a baby's bottom. Wow,
Bro, you look several years younger.
Oh, thank you. 4-hour-long pay-per-view, California.
Yeah, 4 fucking hours, bro.
Thank God I had my large can of energy drink handy.
Yeah, so did I earlier as well. But still, it didn't stop me from feeling like this was harrowing. And maybe about 3/4 through, I was like, "Fuck, I'm exhausted from all of this." Anyway, bro. Before we start, I know that I watched the buy-in. So I did write some notes for the buy-in, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
So I skipped the first, I don't know how long, it was an hour long, but I skipped like the first, 35 minutes or so, because it was just hype packages for the matches, which I knew I'd probably see later on. Dante Martin was the first thing that I really saw. He was getting interviewed by Tony Schiavone in the ring about the offer from Team Taz, which apparently took place on Rampage this past weekend, and asking him, what his answer was going to be. Leo Rush was not there because his grandmother had passed away, so my condolences to Leo. The Acclaimed interrupt, killed it on the mic, killed it. Made fun of the amount of time that Team Taz is actually on television. And just some really solid stuff from them. The only thing I didn't like, they asked him to join the Acclaimed, but this is so, again, elementary beginners booking 101. You want Dante up at the end of the segment. So what they did was they had Anthony Bowens just after asking him to join, start threatening him that if you're not with us, then you're against us. And so, okay, well, we know where the segment's going now. If you want him to join, you'd at least butter him up for a little while, Anyway, I was like, okay, you're just doing this just to have Dante do something that makes him up and Acclaimed down. I don't know, Bowens got on the ring apron. I think Dante fucking knocked him off, and then he did a dive to the outside on both of them. So he's getting the push. So we know that he's going to be up at the end of the segment, and the Acclaimed aren't going to get heat on him. And why would he join Team Taz? Because he's on TV more, not being in Team Taz. He's on TV more than they are. So no, he's not going to join, because then what's going to happen to him? Ricky Starks can't even get on fucking television. Yeah, Ricky Starks can't even get on television, bro.
No, not unless he's behind the announce desk.
That's it. I don't know if he's injured or whatever, but he had a street fight with Brian Cage a few weeks ago, apparently, that we ended up missing out on. But anyway, moving forward, bro, the last part of the buy-in was Nyla Rose with Vicky teaming with Jamie Hayter against Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa. This is all because these ladies are facing each other in the TBS title tournament. I understand that the use of the buy-in for promo videos, but if you're going to be splicing them in on the main pay-per-view, I'd throw 3 matches on the buy-in personally. Maybe Ricky Starks would get on the fucking card. I would have had maybe Paul White against Billy Gunn. Something impromptu, bro. Because, there was a heel turn about fucking 2 months ago that we never followed up on. Maybe that might have been nice, but they're going to pretend that the heel turn never happened. I maybe have Bobby Fish get on the card and maybe get a win over like Dustin Rhodes or something, because he fucking obviously needs the win, considering he was fucking bitched out by Bryan Danielson, Punk, and then Jungle Boy. So fucking elementary once again. We knew it was going to happen. And if Jungle Boy later on's gone over in this fucking match, then would have it fucking hurt him for him to get screwed over on Rampage and give Bobby Fish fucking something. Why'd you fucking hire the guy for? All you've done now is just made him seem like he can't fucking get the job done. Good job.
And that right there, folks, is a preview of what I think we're about to see quite a bit more of in this review coming
That's
up.
it.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Paul White should commentate on the buy-in if he's not going to be performing on the show or doing anything. They got Tony and Excalibur. How much are you paying Paul? Are you paying him a lot to just fucking commentate Elevation for your YouTube show? What a waste of fucking money and time. Do something with him. So that's before I even get to my notes on the match. Serena Deeb's at ringside, continuing her feud with Hikaru Shida. And when she got involved, it was great to see Vicky Guerrero smack Hikaru with a kendo stick in her injured knee. The match continued on. Shida ends up getting the win with a jackknife pin to pin Nyla Rose. That's babyface number 1 going over there. And to end the buy-in, there's an interview with Orange Cassidy where he says he's going to have a mystery partner to team with him to take on the Butcher and the Blade at Dynamite. And then right to finish off the whole thing, Boom Asuna plays and Jim Ross gets introduced. I laughed. I liked the fact that the buy-in was ending with JR's theme, dun, 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 on loop. Good stuff. Okay. Got that shit out the way. Let's get into it, bro. AEW Full Gear. I'm going to let you take the very first one here, and it's MJF taking on Darby Allin.
Well, I like the way that this feud has been building. Obviously, it's come down to a story of MJF thinks he has the wrestling technique, the mat chops, so to speak, to take out Darby Allin and win this match because he thinks Darby Allin's all about the Evel Knievel Daredevil stuff. Nice storyline going into this. MJF said he's going to beat Darby Allin with a headlock takeover. Such is his technique, superior to that of Darby Allin. So there we go. Boom. We got a clearly defined villain, MJF, who's a heel, not one of these tweeners. We got Darby Allin, who's an up-and-coming babyface, arguably the top rising babyface in the company right now. He's even managed to somewhat win you and I over. We weren't huge fans of his at the beginning. There are still elements of his presentation that bug us from time to time, but I think it's safe to say at this point, we're kind of on board with Darby Allin, the way that he's been moving up the card and progressing lately. With all that being said, you've now got MJF also on the rise, progressing very nicely through the card. They're taking their time with him as well. This is all very good. Now we've got a clash between two of the so-called pillars of All Elite Wrestling here. The stage was set very nicely going into this match. This was one of the best built matches on the entire Full Gear card. To me, this was one of the matches I was most looking forward to going into this. The match actually begins. We saw what I believe is some of the best in-ring wrestling that I've seen in my entire time watching AEW TV. MJF and Darby Allin were both stepping it up to another level here. The footwork, the precision, the timing. They did a lot of classical catch wrestling spots, a lot of pinning combinations and reversals and submission attempts, takedowns, that kind of thing. This all was executed to perfection, set the stage for the match. Great heel touch. MJF, as the bad guy in the match, was the first one to actually break with this technical style and use an underhanded tactic. Toss Darby out of the ring once he started getting frustrated with him. Really nice work. The match continues on. MJF takes a couple of bad shots to his knee, which Darby Allin expertly exploits. MJF at that point is now having to defend his injured knee, and every bit of offense that he manages to deliver also takes its toll on his knee, whether it be the tombstone pile driver on the apron, that obviously you've got to land on your knees to execute, that injures the knee. Whether it be taking a dive or doing one of his other moves, everything seemed to take its effect on the knee, whether it was offensive or defensive. Darby Allin, of course, He's playing the face in peril for most of this match. Couple of those high-risk moves don't pay off, like the coffin drop onto the apron. Ended up MJF moved out of the way. Boom. That high risk doesn't always pay off for Darby Allin. Exactly the kind of story that they needed to tell. This was expertly performed by everybody involved in the match. We said going in that MJF really needed to win this because it would just be what he needs to bring his character to the next level, whereas Darby Allin is already going to that next level. He won't be harmed by losing the match, and we hope that they can continue the feud anyway. Gets to the finish. MJF starts slinging that headlock takeover. It's uncharacteristically late in a wrestling match to throw headlock takeovers. The commentators did a nice job of pointing that fact out, that, oh, here we go. This is all just to rub it in his face, what he's been talking about in these upcoming weeks. Finally, Sting runs interference when Wardlow and Sean Spears try to run down on MJF's behalf. He comes out. He's looking good, gets a nice little pop without taking away from the momentum that's already been built by the guys in the match. I wanted to point that as well. This was a welcome little appearance from Sting and from Spears and Wardlow, which didn't detract. It added to the tension of the match, because now it's like, oh, here come MJF's guys. They're going to try to interfere. Fuck, they're going to fuck up such a great match. Boom. Sting is the difference maker. Backstage, they all go. That distraction, though, has created a lot of commotion. MJF has gotten out that dynamite diamond ring, you know, the one that he always talks about and shows off, and that he won that tournament to hold that ring and makes a big deal out of having won the tournament. Consistency in storytelling. We saw it pay off here in the finish of this match. MJF has taken advantage of that distraction. He's placed the dynamite diamond ring on his finger. Boom. Clocks Darby Allin with it. Darby Allin's out like a light, just to rub salt in the wound. MJF lumbers him over. He's dead weight at this point. MJF has to pull him over with the headlock takeover. It's all elementary at that point. Darby would have been knocked out if you counted to 100. Ref counts 3. MJF has won the match. It didn't seem to me like this thing was over. I feel like Darby's going to be getting some comeuppance coming up here soon, either him or Sting or both. A+ match. Absolutely one of the best matches of either of these guys' careers. Obviously, MJF has had his program with Chris Jericho. Darby Allin had his program with CM Punk. Both of those, I felt like, you know, those guys did tremendous work in those feuds. But this match here is the one where I finally feel like, boom, these guys have arrived as bona fide stars. Props to them. Props to the bookers. I thought that this was the best executed thing on the entire show. So well done to everybody all around the board. Go out of your way to check this out. This is a Juicy Boy recommends, because I can't even do it justice despite my blathering on about it. Loved it. This was a great way to start the show, California.
Is that an A+, is it, bro?
Yes, I said A+, yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, best match on the show. Best storytelling on the show. The psychology was fantastic. The selling was fantastic. The opening of the match itself, fantastic. Loved it. Everyone was eating it up. It was so nice and neat and tidy and realistic. Pops for JR calling them the pillows of AEW.
It sounded intentional as well, didn't it, bro?
Love that powerbomb backbreaker. That was, very nice. It's a little bit of a chess match in the middle of the contest. I don't know what I'm talking about. They had their fingers locked and they were going back and forth. And I just thought,
with all the bridges and stuff like that.
There's a whole heap of shit going on at one stage. But yeah, really interesting to see them try and one up one another. Tombstone on the apron, fantastic as well. Because, every time he needs to utilize something that's going to work on the back, it's hurting his knee, because his knee needs to be involved every time, whether it's, a backbreaker variation and whatnot. The code red got us after which was a nice exchange. We thought that might have been it. Loved the Sting getting involved, but not taking too much out of it. You want to see Sting get involved in some way, just to get his face on the pay-per-view. And I thought the finish was absolutely fantastic. Love seeing some heat there to open the show, considering we didn't get any more for the rest of the pay-per-view. So match of the show. Moving forward, bro. Lucha Brothers versus FTR. I will take this with my notes. I knew what to expect. You know, I think the Lucha Brothers are very talented, very athletic. Everything is so precise with them. But we really need to respect tag team wrestling here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a double submission at one stage, and, you know, it took a little while to set it up, and it's just to get the crowd to pop. And I get it, but fucking get out of the fucking ring. Ref, do something.
Mm-hmm.
Another note I wrote is I'm super happy for Tully to be so actively involved in professional wrestling for the first time in years, and I don't understand for the life of me why no one ever thought to maybe bring him in to do something. They are making fun of the Lucha Brothers fucking ringside guy. I forgot his name already. Him making fun of his gloves.
Alex Abrahantes.
That's it, Alex. Yeah, I thought that was funny. There was a title shot to the head, which we thought might have been the finish, so I wrote, fuck you. But, you know, they got us. That's okay.
Yeah.
The match went too long. Definitely too long.
Mm-hmm.
Shave 5 minutes off it, please. Then there was a double pin attempt at one stage. It's not a tornado tag match. And then what the fuck was with this finish?
Mm-hmm.
What was with this fucking finish?
Mm-hmm.
What was the point?
Yeah.
They put the masks on.
So just
and cash
so everyone knows.
Just wait, bro. I'll explain. They went to the outside and they went under the ring and they put on those masks that they wore several weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been watching, then you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
They put those masks on, and so Cash gets in the ring. I know Dax has it on, but you don't see him. And there was nothing came of that. Within 10, 15, 20 seconds, a finisher is applied on Cash Wheeler. Was he the legal man? I don't know. Maybe he was.
The commentators
he wasn't the legal man. Interesting that. Okay, so if you're going to do something like this, then the referee should be like, oh, we better restart the match. It wasn't the legal man. Referee didn't seem to fucking give a shit that there was suddenly he was wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm.
What the fucking point? What was the fucking point of the spot if it didn't affect the outcome whatsoever? It didn't do anything.
Mm.
If on Dynamite something happens where it's like, oh, well, you didn't pin it, so they get a rematch or whatever, fucking great job, but it was a flat finish and it just fucked me off. After all the crazy fucking shit they do in the match and they give us a flat finish like that, and it's not even the first time it happens on the show. Where was the fucking suspense to end that fucking contest? Nowhere. Because you're fucking doing this stupid shit that doesn't have any effect on the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Your turn.
Yeah, no, bro. I mean, that's just such a good point that you make right at the end there, man. Astute as always. Like, you know what? It's a problem that both you and I remarked on during this thing, right? Like, and there's a number of problems I have with this match, and I'll get to them, don't worry. It's like they have all this tension, the air in the balloon, and then right when it gets to its biggest point, bro, they go and let all the air out instead of popping it, you know, right at that moment. And so there's a number of things here. First of all, this finish would have worked light years better, but it exposed instead two major problems with this product. Number one, they don't pay any attention to the rules of this match. This was not a tornado match or a lucha rules match. It wasn't even for the AAA tag titles where it might have been more excusable. It was for the AEW tag titles. So tag rules should still apply. But no, they didn't really bother to pay attention to the rules. The referee didn't really seem to care about the rules. And so then when they get to do this finish with the masks and all that stuff, it doesn't make a difference, because if you don't enforce the small rules, nobody gives a shit when you break the bigger ones. So there was no fucking impact or like intrigue or mystery to what was happening with this finish, other than it looked screwy as fuck because they've ignored the rules throughout the entire rest of the match. And so now we don't know what the fuck's going on. Furthermore, it seemed as though even the commentators were confused. Like they felt like this was supposed to be some attempted twin magic or bait and switch by FTR. But I was thinking to myself, even if they're wearing the fucking masks, they look completely different. They have completely different. I'm talking about Dax and Hobb and Wheeler here. Like they have completely different freaking physiques. They have different, amounts of body hair. And so
one's got tattoos on his back and one's bald and one's got hair.
Yeah. There's just so many differences that it would never have worked. So I don't really understand what the entire point was. And once again, dude, like I was all for, I even said it at the beginning of the match. Okay, one half of this match is the AAA Tag Team Champions, and also they're in there against the Lucha Brothers. So you can expect this to be a bit of a Lucha Libre, high-flying type of match. And, I was prepared and ready for that type of match. And I was enjoying it for quite a bit. Maybe even almost 2/3 of the match I really, really was enjoying and really letting myself get into it, bro. And then it's like we talk about all the time. We've said it before in the reviews. You said it in your discussion of this match a moment ago. Like these matches outstay their welcome. It's like they just have to stuff too much into the stocking, and it ends up exploding, and fucking nothing ends up being special anymore, because they end up, like I said earlier, letting the air out of that balloon when they should be popping it with a knife. Right when the tension gets to a fever pitch and the audience is ready to blow, give them an opportunity to blow. Instead, you gave them a confusing, flat, hot mess of a finish that dragged this match down from potentially an A- all the way down to a C-, because I was confused. Like I felt like, and we're going to be pointing out how good of a job the commentators did probably several times throughout this review, but even the commentators couldn't salvage this, because you could tell that they didn't even know what the fuck was going on. And to my final little thought on that, again, this highlighted the production issues within this company. Camera's not in the right place when it needs to be. We need to see a camera shot of them putting the masks on and conniving down there near the apron, like planning what they're going to do. We need to see that so-and-so is not legal and the legal man's actually over there doing something else, and he has the mask on or he doesn't, Like we need to get some sort of visual context as to what's going on. Because in this case, when the commentators didn't even know what the fuck was going on, what fucking chance do we have if we're watching the broadcast version at home? So C-, very disappointing. Could have been a lot better. And once again, there's another disservice to FTR. I didn't like this, man. I think this made everyone involved look a bit foolish at the end here.
Okay, bro, moving forward. Finals of the Eliminator tournament, Miro versus Bryan Danielson. What did you think?
Well, at this point, we were already starting to think, okay, this is getting pretty top heavy. I would have liked to have seen the ladies here, or at least a backstage vignette or a little something, just to kind of pump the brakes a little bit, get a chance to get my breath back. Having said that, though, they did go straight into the tournament finals here. Miro versus Bryan Danielson. Nice touch in the opening package beforehand, bro, of Bryan Danielson actually mentioning that in all his time knowing Miro, obviously referring to their time in WWE, he's never actually beaten Miro. Great touch there. Everyone knows the kind of pedigree that Bryan Danielson has at this point in his career. And so for him to point out, hey, I've never actually gotten a win over this guy, instantly adds some credibility to Miro and creates a bit more doubt as to whether who was going to win this match. Because we know going in that it's basically, as we always say, bro, say it with me, it's a foregone
conclusion.
Absolutely it is. But we get to the match. This was a really enjoyable match for me. I think it suits both of our sensibilities as fans. This was hard hitting, but they didn't try to go 100 miles an hour. You know what I'm saying, bro? They let this build. They played a bit of a chess match. Like Miro's got that damaged quadricep muscle. Obviously, Bryan Danielson's got the history of neck and concussion issues. Let's let them have that chess match to try to start exploiting those weaknesses in one another. I thought they did that brilliantly. Brian Danielson, very good at those David versus Goliath type matches, psychology-wise. He did that again here. I liked that they both included a little bit of their because they're both aficionados of MMA and they enjoy doing a little bit of martial arts outside of wrestling. I like that they incorporated that into the match. Not too much though. They didn't go trying to show themselves off like they were experts at MMA. They just used a couple of things where it was like, oh, okay, that's smart. They've picked that up from seeing that somewhere or training somewhere, and they've learned that, and now they're incorporating that in a way that makes sense for the game plan that they're trying to execute. So a short way of putting this would be like, this was the sport match on the show for me, at least for my taste. I felt like this actually felt like a real contest, like it was a legitimate wrestling match where both guys want to win this tournament and they're actually trying to like prove over the other that I'm the better man and I can get this win. Both guys, obviously, submission aficionados, both went for the submission. Bryan Danielson, I liked it. He was the first person, I believe, to break out of the game over / accolade since Miro's been in AEW. I like that they didn't bury the move in having him break out of it. They actually made it seem like it was even more of a dangerous move, because as soon as he tried to lock it in, Bryan Danielson almost became desperate and he was like, oh my God, I need to get out of this right now or I have lost this match. So yes, he broke out of it, which makes him look strong and is a valiant effort for him as the babyface, but it also keeps the move looking strong. Bryan Danielson eventually starts going for the bell lock. He has it in at one point. I think he's going to get a fair and square tap from Miro at one point with the label lock. I wouldn't have minded. At that point, it felt like the heat was being built to a fever pitch. It was time to end the match anyway. Instead, Miro manages to break out of the label lock or get to the ropes. I can't exactly remember which one, but he gets out of it. They work their way back up to a vertical base. Miro manages to take charge with some kind of suplex or slam. And at that point, he sets Bryan Danielson up on the top rope. It looks like he's setting up to deliver something big, maybe a huge fall away slam or a big Samoan drop, something like that. Bryan Danielson, after quite a lot of maneuvering around on the top, I want to point out this and give it credit where it's due as well. I like the fact that both guys actually acted like, oh, hey, I'm in danger because we're on the ropes. They didn't just act like they were going through the motions. They actually, you could see them like struggling for their footing, trying to find that good footing so that they're standing on there and they've got a good grip on there, because they know at any moment the other guy's actively trying to knock them off of that top rope. You want to sell that element of danger because, as we always say, bro, a wrestling match should look like something that the audience member doesn't think they'd be able to get through it. All right? They did good at that here. They're on the top rope. They've made a point of saying that the DDT and the neck in general has kind of been a bit of a kryptonite for Miro. I like that touch, despite how big his and well developed his neck actually is, because he has lost several matches or come close to losing as a result of that neck and getting spiked on his head. So they mentioned that a few times throughout the show. Daniel Bryan goes up. They're on the top rope at this point. He manages to hit a tornado DDT off the top rope. Boom, Miro kicks out, but he's got that damaged neck. The DDT's a bit of a kryptonite. I would have been fine with it if it wasn't for then, in that moment, Daniel Bryan locked in just about the sloppiest guillotine headlock, front guillotine I'd ever seen. And then the ref called it a knockout. Miro never tapped or anything. You didn't see Miro dramatically like fade from this guillotine. We were just supposed to expect like, okay, he's been dropped from the DDT. So that means that he's immediately going to be knocked out in the guillotine. He's not going to flail or attempt to get out of it or anything before passing out. I think it looked piss weak. I think that it made Bryan Danielson look stupid. I think that looked almost like he phoned in the guillotine because of the sloppy way that it was. I think that in their minds, they were going for like, oh, this was a desperation win. He only just managed to do it. But this ended up, once again, second match in a row here after such a promising start that's just been a flat, letting the air out of the balloon finish that did no favors for the match. I'm going to give this a C- as well. This was just passable because of the quality of the talents involved, but this finish was another absolute mess.
I kind of feel like if it were me booking, okay, we all, because like as I said, I've said in every fucking review since the tournament was announced, we knew that the final match would be Moxley versus Danielson, and we knew that Danielson would be going over because Moxley's not going back up to the fucking title program when Omega's there. Omega's around there. They just finished up with all that shit. So we knew who was winning the tournament. We knew who was going to be in the finals of the tournament. I would have pivoted because Miro got slotted in at the last minute. I would have had him win the fucking thing because Hangman Page is now the champion. He's probably going to fuck around with Kenny for another month or so. But, you know, I don't really fucking want to see Danielson and Hangman. I don't want to see a babyface thing. You can slot Miro in there and then fucking stick Danielson with Omega for a month or two. So I fucking knew he was going to win the fucking thing, you know? I don't know what their plans were going into this with Miro if Moxley didn't have to go to rehab. But I fucking knew he wasn't going to win. It would have been just a nice surprise, dude, to have him win. You know, you don't need these guys to fucking be undefeated for months on end. Like, and we're going to have to wait to win, fucking Double or Nothing or something like that for Danielson to finally lose or Punk to finally fucking lose. Like, I could see your fucking glass ceilings all over the fucking place. I know who's winning everything. It's so fucking obvious. I know who's getting featured. You're never going to fucking surprise me with anything. I'm bored. I hate taking it seriously. It's just stupid. It's just wrestling. But fuck, when you know that you can do the better job than the billionaire's son. Miro's very realistic. I didn't write many notes for this match. I like the match, but you know, it's that fever pitch at certain points of the match, and then they go to this fucking spot from the top rope. We're trading back and forth with submission holds. Why are they going on the top rope for a DDT that was so fucking sloppy? It was a mess. And then Danielson, I get it, bro. You're trying to win every match a different way and showing your range or whatever. Enough. All right? You're half his fucking size. I don't believe you're going to choke him out. I don't believe that. Even if you DDT'd him off the fucking top rope. You didn't need to do that spot. Just fucking tap him out with the label lock. We get it, bro. You're very educated on fucking mixed martial arts. We get it. It's boring. Fuck this. After all that, great match, and it ends in shit.
Yeah.
What are the agents doing?
Yeah.
Because I've got a hell of a lot to fucking say about the agenting because I saw spots repeated throughout this fucking show. I don't know how many fucking apron spots I saw. Twice. Two matches have an apron spot, not fucking 8. How many fucking times were things repeated? Conti did a moons. I'll get to it. I'll get to it later. I'm so fucking mad, bro. Bro, I had to have a shower once we were done watching it because I had a fucking headache. Massive headache that I could feel in my face.
Yeah,
and it's so stupid for me to take it this seriously. I laughed at myself when I watched this back and I'm this mad. We loved the Go Home show. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. I almost gave it an 8. I like that show. Heat. And then on this show, fuck, man.
Yeah. I mean that's
all got conclusions all over the place. Yes.
That is a little bit of the price that you know we pay when we decide that we're going to take our fandom and kind of put it on YouTube and stuff. It's kind of a little bit of the double-edged sword is that you do end up getting invested because you want to do a good job for these reviewers. So you end up looking at it with a bit more of a critical eye than you otherwise might. I think the reason why we get so frustrated, bro, is because we want these guys to succeed. I think it just comes from like the potential is there, man, but they always do things to shoot themselves in the foot.
They just placate to their fucking diehards all the fucking time. The diehards don't want fucking peaks and valleys. They just want a happy little fun show with fun wrestling, good wrestling matches.
Yeah.
It gets old after a while, man.
Yeah.
15 weeks now we've been covering this shit. Man, I just want to be fucking like, oh, great. Like Don, when he was the cameraman on Dynamite, fucking awesome, bro. Thank you for surprising me. But then you give me a pay-per-view after I gave fucking All Out 9 out of 10, and you give me this pay-per-view the very next time around.
Mm-hmm.
I needed my palate refreshed after that. I didn't want another 30-minute match. It gets fucking tiring, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I see that the next match is the 6-man Falls Count Anywhere match, I'm like, fuck, this is going to go forever. I think it went about 22 minutes. It went about 22 minutes or something around there. But still, it felt very long. I'm going to run through my notes. I got a lot of notes here.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Christian main events the last pay-per-view. Now he's in a 6-man. And that's fine. You know, he's been involved with Jurassic Express for the duration of his time in AEW so far. Mute the Jurassic Express fucking entrance. Looked away from the video as well. I'm sick of seeing the fans do the shit. I say it every week. I'm going to keep saying it every time. I don't fucking care for it. It's so fucking painful. You look like fucking marks. Like, yes, enjoy yourself. It's fine. I'll be the party pooper, and I'm happy to be. Yeah, I wrote down I don't want it going any longer than 20 minutes. To be honest, I should have written 15 minutes because I think 15 is all it really needed.
Yeah.
You know, Jungle Boy doing another thing. How many fucking suicide dives through the fucking ropes do we see on the show? 2 people. Let 2 people do it. Think of something else if you want to do something to the outside. How many people went through those ropes for a dive? Fuck. It's rinse and repeat. He did the dive, he ran back in the ring, he did another dive, he ran back in the ring, and then when he did a dive at the top rope plancher, he got a trash can thrown at him, and I wrote, suck shit. Christian and Nick Jackson fuck off backstage, thankfully, well, you know, into the crowd. Thankfully, they did follow them with a cameraman and a referee because I was concerned that they were just going to go backstage and we weren't going to see what happened next. The table spots were fantastic. Love the Hurricane Rhino and Adam Cole through the table, and love the elbow drop from the Young Buck on Luchasaurus through the table. Very nice. Like the dive from Christian, but they were standing there a while, and we need some lighting too if you're going to be in a dark area of the building. Luchasaurus, I wrote down, he's such a bitch to the Elite. The dude's the same size as all 3 of them put together. And man, I just think he sells too much for a guy's size. It wouldn't be a problem if he was against someone the same size of him. Just saying. The Cole and the Young Bucks are very small kind of fellas. I don't know what the fucking point was of putting the thumbtacks in Jungle Boy's mouth, because it had no effect on what happened in the fucking match. It was all just to get the crowd to go, oh. I would have had him spit up blood, bro, because he got kicked in the mouth when he had thumbtacks in his mouth. Doing shit for the sake of it.
Yeah.
The bottom of the trash can into Luchasaurus' face popped me. So there's stuff in the match that I like, but there's other shit that I don't like. So we get to a spot where they grab another bag out near the entranceway, and they've got knee pads with thumbtacks on it. And they do the BTE trigger on Luchasaurus, who's wearing a fucking mask. A thick fucking green leather mask. Oh, well, you can't do it to Christian and Jungle Boy. It would be too dangerous. Then don't do the spot at all.
Mm-hmm.
It had no effect on anything. He did it to a guy with a thick leather mask on. And it looked like shit too. I've always said that move looks like shit because it looks like there's no impact on it. It's fucking nuts. And the crowd go, oh, fuck off, man. Fuck off. Watch some Mike Awesome and ECW and come back to me. Luchasaurus with the shooting star off the stage onto the pack. Fantastic. Awesome. Very impressive. Goes to show that the fucking triple BTE trigger didn't fucking mean anything because it only happened a few seconds prior. And I'm sorry, Panama Sunrise. I forgot to mention this. Jungle Boy took a Panama Sunrise on the fucking floor, and a minute later he was fine.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do everything. I'll get to that whole everything later. And I'm just bored. I'm just bored that the fact that this had to be about Jungle Boy, bro. Like, I get it. Christian's there to fucking help the younger talent. Cool, man. Like, this story's about Jungle Boy. Cool. I don't care. I'm bored. When he can cut a decent promo and he's got a character that I like, then come back to me. This whole thing about him being the future of the business, mate, I think I'm bigger than him.
It's not there yet.
I'll give them credit. They really like to go above and beyond, okay? But sometimes above and beyond can be a little bit too much and it can go on a little too long, okay? It's like you need a fucking shotgun to beat these guys. And finally, he fucking smashed a chair in his fucking skull and pinned him. Mm-hmm. And then later on, he was able to come out. And even though he's being helped out, he was able to come out for the main event for their little heartwarming spot with Hangman Page. Bro, the cunt should be in a fucking hospital. He just had his head caved in with a chair against another chair. It's a very dangerous looking thing.
Did Adam Cole come out in the main event?
Wasn't it? I'm sorry. I thought it was a Young Buck that took it. Wasn't it a Young Buck that took that spot?
Oh, well, now I'm confused, man.
Let me just check so I don't look like an idiot, okay? I'm positive it was fucking
you could be right,
Matt
bro.
Jackson.
Could be right. It might be me getting confused, man. You could be right.
I just want to double check. Okay, that's not the full results. Why do these websites do an article per fucking match? Just full results. Sorry, everyone. Full Gear results. Because I'm telling you, if one of the Jacksons came out after taking that fucking concerto, it's just a little bit too much. What's the results that I read? Don't say who got fucking hit with it. Forget it. Okay, forget it. Okay, I'm going with it. I'm pretty sure it was a Young Buck that fucking took it. Okay.
All right. So yeah,
go.
I don't have any really much more to add other than you. I thought that for about half of this match, this was proving to be kind of the fun match, a little bit of a palate cleanser. It was a bit of a hardcore match. I was enjoying this. The Hurricanrana to the outside, like Christian Spear on the ramp, the Panama Sunrise. Like, there was a lot of cool stuff in this match. So I don't really have too much else to add. But once again, this outstayed its welcome by about a good 7 or 8 minutes. It didn't need to be this long, and it didn't need to be as overstuffed as it was. And we did not need to see the Young Bucks do literally 16 or 17 super kicks in this match. It's just ridiculous. It completely devalues the impact of the move, and they throw it around like it's a right-hand punch, and I've had enough of it. I'm giving this match a D+. I really wanted to give it a higher rating, but unfortunately it just overstayed its welcome too much, and I didn't really come back around to it until right at the end, because I really liked the impact of that concerto that was used for the finish. So it's a real shame. It's again, they've sacrificed quality for quantity once again.
Yeah, it was Matt Jackson. I was right. Thank you, WrestlingInc.com, for giving some very good results that I can fucking find what I want. So it was Matt Jackson. So after having his head caved in where he should have a fucking concussion from or go to the hospital from, because something like that is brutal, he's okay to come out and he's in a clear state of mind to be able to make decisions later on that affect the main event. Very nice.
Yeah, cool.
Next match should again have been a palate cleanser. It should have been Britt Baker versus Ty Conti. But instead, it was another match that was going to be probably a long one. It's Pac, it's Rhodes, it's Malakai Black, and it's Andrade. Take it away, bro. And I'm sorry for ranting for so long there.
No, that's all right, man. I think you know, however you feel is how you feel. All right, man. I want to say that this match, to some degree, actually did serve as a palate cleanser for me, man. Like, this ended up turning into quite a fun, like, despite my feelings about Cody or Pac or anything else like that, this turned into a really fun little match. I loved the dynamic of these two teams that you've essentially got three heels and one guy that's about to turn heel that's trying to be a babyface in Cody. You've got both teams are reluctant teams. They don't really want to be teaming up. All four men of the match wanted to be the star of the match and wanted to make the match about themselves, but they were forced to work within the confines of a tag team situation. They told that story throughout. That was a really well executed bit of psychology that guided this match, and I wanted to give them credit. I really liked it. All four guys in the match, tremendous workers. The smoothness, the footwork, everything that they do is just perfection. You know, even Cody in the ring is quite good, despite how I might feel about him as a character. Like, he, you know, never really misses a step in the ring. This was a showcase in, like, catch-as-catch-can wrestling. A lot of cool counters, a lot of fast footwork. There was a lot of kicks and strikes in this match, but unlike the other match that we just saw, yes, there was a lot of kicks and strikes, and there was a lot of exchanges of strikes, but all of these strikes looked like they hurt, and the guys were selling them, and they weren't just completely ignoring them and acting like no one just kicked him in the face. So it worked for me in this case. You know, I'm not opposed to doing this kind of more far-fetched rubber band reality type stuff in a wrestling match. I just don't want my intelligence to be insulted while they do it. So in this case, we've got a lot of strikes, but we've also got an appropriate amount of selling accompanying it. So I'm like, yeah, this is a badass fight between these two teams. Everything in the ring, I really enjoyed. I would have had Andrade get the pin. I really felt like he should have been the person to finally get a big win here at pay-per-view. He's the one out of the four people in the match that really needs it the most. As it was, we had the opposite team win. It ended up being Cody and Pac that would get the win, but Pac got the pin, so I'm happy with that. Cody didn't need to get the pin, and so we kind of ended on, this was more about Pac in the end than it was about Cody, so that was fine by me. I would give this match a B-, man. I thought this was pretty good. And it didn't outstay its welcome as well. It was the first match tonight that didn't drag on for fucking 20 minutes too long.
Yeah, bro. Unfortunately for me, it wasn't the palate cleanser that it was for you. I really needed that ladies match at this point. Andrade's theme is sick.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote heels to go over because on this show, Tony, you had two heels win, and one of them you knew she was going to win. Malakai doesn't seem that special anymore to me. When he just only a fucking short month and a half ago, he really seemed special to me. The fact that him and Andrade, the team that seems to be, you know, on the same page, whereas Pac and Rhodes weren't, you would think that maybe that might edge them and they get the win. Pac and Rhodes didn't need to win this one. Malakai and Andrade, to legitimize the fact that they've got this union together, needed to get the fucking win. I don't know why you had so many fucking baby faces win on this show. It was infuriating to have so many fucking baby faces go over. So many happy endings, and wait till I get to that fucking American Top Team match. I'm just going to skip through some of these notes because I'm in a bad mood. I love that Arn got a bigger pop than Cody. Cody sucks. Fuck you, Cody chance. Dude, just turn heel. Just turn heel. I will not turn. No, do it. Don't go against the grain. Number one rule in wrestling. You know, they went against that several times in the show. Loved Arn attacking Jose. Cody's not on the ring apron because he's hurt from a kick, so we have to watch him selling on the outside as a doctor comes over to him. Crowd totally against Cody, and it just makes me feel good, bro, that everyone's finally seeing Cody for how I saw him at the fucking pep rally. fucking a long time ago. This looks like, smells like, I don't know. This feels like a revolution. Cody and Malakai are fucking in the crowd at one stage. Pac gets the win. And I'm like, what? Where do you go from here then? Where do you go from here? Is this thing over now? Because it probably should be. FTR attacks for like a second, leaves Cody laying, leaves Pac laying. Shit conclusion.
I like that they're at least continuing with that alliance between those guys, though.
Very good, but have them fucking, like, if they're going to be in cahoots, then have them come out and help them win.
Yeah.
There's no what's it to them if you come out and attack them afterward? It doesn't mean anything because you lost the fucking match.
Didn't make a difference.
You're going to be in cahoots, say, hey, if we're in trouble, come out. Not, hey, if we lose the match, come out and attack them.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to tell them to come out and attack them if they win.
If they're going to be allied, they might as well be difference makers for them.
That's it. Another thing that happened that had no fucking effect on the match. Waste of time. Thank you for wasting my time. Okay. The next match, I'll take that because you missed the first 10 minutes of it. And that's okay. Rich Ward from Fozzy actually played guitar for Britt Baker's entrance, which I thought was pretty cool. It was off to a slow start, but guess what? The crowd were fucking burned out, cunt. Tony, figure out how to fucking format your card. You got all those brains behind the scenes and not one person thought, hey, maybe doing like all of this crazy shit before the women's match might fucking burn them out. God. More apron bumps. I don't know how many apron bumps we saw in this show, but geez, everyone seemed to find themselves on the ring apron. Were able to execute a move, in almost every fucking match. What a coincidence! Does anyone, do any of the agents fucking compare notes and say how, yeah, we've got an apron bump in our match. Oh, so do we. Oh, so do we. So do we. So do we. Like, it had to be more than 5 matches that had it. Again, you don't need to do it in every fucking match. It's unbelievable that they're clearly not talking to each other, or they don't care and they just let the guys do whatever it is that they want to do without fucking, I mean, shit, we got 3 Eddie Guerrero tributes tonight. No problem. Love Eddie. Sad that he's gone, but we need one. We need one fucking tribute to him. Not 3 different people giving a it's too much. It's going overboard. The Thai KO is that move that she does where she kind of flings him around and hits him with the knee to the face. No one's head is ever close to her knee when she does that move. Mm-hmm. Can you girls please practice? Dustin, can you please get them to practice that? Figure out a way, because they never can show an instant replay of it, because I can tell you the knee is nowhere near the head.
Yeah.
So Jamie Hayter, right, and Rebel are fucking interfering over and over and over again. Why doesn't Anna Jay come out?
Yeah.
That would get a nice pop for her to run out and fucking,
she did nothing.
Jesus Christ.
She wasn't even on the show, even though just take one look at her to know why she should be on the show. But dude, they couldn't even have the ref throw Rebel and Jamie Hayter out. Like, if they're creating that much of a problem in the match, the ref should be like, all right, one more time and you're out of here. And then the next time they catch him doing it, fucking chuck him out. Like,
Rebel got on the ring apron like 2 or 3 fucking times. Anna Jay's not fucking, like, if this were real, what would her best fucking friend and tag partner fucking do? She'd come out. If fucking Rebel keeps getting on she'd come out and fucking handle it and help out.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. Like, there should be a scene on the next episode where Conti gets angry at Anna for not coming out and helping her. Everyone should be on standby when you know that the person that your fucking partner is facing has backup that's out there. That they're out there at ringside. Why isn't Anna Jay with her? It's just nonsensical. I just wrote this match is all over the place. I don't think that the agenting again was all there for it. Conti does a moonsault from the top rope to the outside, which we saw Hangman Page do later in the show. One person gets to do it a show. Get Hangman to do it because we know him for doing it. She could have done something else. Hopefully not a crossbody because everyone else fucking did that. But something. A fucking flip. I don't know. But yeah, they were all standing there forever for her to do it as well. And then after all that, all the fucking shit that they hit each other with, and Britt wins with a roll-up reversal. Like, hopefully this leads to a rematch or whatever. But we can do better than that, a roll-up fucking reversal. We can do better than that for the ladies match, I think. So out of the, 9-10 matches on the show, of course, once again, the one female match. And the other one doesn't count because it was on the buy-in. Okay, bro. Your turn.
Yeah, like
for what you saw of Britt Baker and Ty Conti.
Obviously didn't see the first 10 minutes of it, but once again, I feel like here's Britt Baker, one of the most over superstars in the industry, one of the top female wrestlers in the industry, over like Rover, and now it's 2 straight pay-per-views where, again, they failed to capitalize on how popular Britt Baker is. She needs to be rolling into the pay-per-view as women's champion and doing big things because she's the AEW Women's Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. You know? And she carries herself like a champion. She carries herself like a big deal. The audience think of her like a big deal. She performs well enough in the ring to be seen as a big deal. Yet she comes out, and whether she wins or loses, they just don't put enough thought into making her match the kind of must-see extravaganza that the men's world title match is. You knew that they were going to spend a lot of time making that world title match at the end special with a lot of different close falls and different things like that. We'll get to it. They don't take the same time to put that attention to detail into the women's heavyweight title match, and it showed in the quality of the match. This match was just barely a C-, and it's not really through any fault of the ladies. I just think they don't have enough people there that care enough about the women's division to make sure that they pay attention to the little details the way that they might do in the men's division.
Yeah, and before I move on and give you the opportunity to talk about Kingston and Punk, I want to say this about Tony Khan and him cutting off that reporter that was asking him about when are you ever going to maybe contribute a all-women's show like NWA did and et cetera, et cetera. And he said, I'm going to cut you off there. I didn't get enough credit for the NWA women's pay-per-view and how I paid for women from AEW to be on that show. I didn't get enough credit for that. It was like he was triggered by the fact that she said the word contribute. She was just asking him, hey, are you ever going to do an all women's show?
Yeah.
Like an all women's pay-per-view maybe? She was just asking a question. But I think the word contribute made him think, oh, no, I've already contributed enough because bro, you do fuck all with the women. Okay, I don't know what it is when you sit there on your bed, like booking your shows every week, you fucking money mark. And I'm sorry, I'm sure Tony's a fantastic human being, but you sit there and you write your little card and you think you're a little booker, you know, Mr. Beginner Booker. You know, I could book circles around you, motherfucker. I booked for over fucking 10 years of my life. So it enrages me to see you in that position. But the fact of the matter is you haven't done right by the females on your roster and you're bringing in a second championship and they can't even get 2 fucking matches on a fucking 9-10 match pay-per-view. I thought Ruby versus Statlander was supposed to be on this thing. I don't know. I just... you got fucking 3,000 people on your roster and you don't have any time for the ladies, bro. You don't have any time for them. And no, I don't watch fucking Dark and Elevation. I'm not going to fucking sit there and watch that just so I can see him. Figure it out, cunt. It's not fucking hard. Sorry, dude.
It doesn't matter how much you pay the women to be on the roster. Like, that's great if you pay them well and they get paid a great living wage and they have health benefits and all that crap. Like, I'm thrilled to death if that's what they're getting paid. But that still doesn't show respect to the reason why those particular women are being paid that money to be there. You know, if
he was talking about the fact that he paid them out of his own pocket to appear on the NWA pay-per-view.
Like what? So should they be grateful that you facilitated them being able to get onto this all-women show?
Yeah, and he was mad at the NWA for not like on the air saying, and props to Tony Khan because without his help, we wouldn't have had this person or this person on the show. Why would they need to fucking do that for?
All that does is make the show look low rent. Oh, like here we are, we're the NWA. We've got Ric Flair coming and appearing on our fucking show, but we couldn't afford to pay all the people that we booked on the card. Is that what they were supposed to go and say? Like, you know, we're getting a bit off track here. I'm not accusing Tony Khan of favoring men directly over women, but
I'm sure he's not doing it on purpose.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is the women are an oversight issue within AEW right now. They are not being given the time and attention that they need, especially since a lot of people in that division are still in the developmental stages of their careers. And this AEW is the first major platform they've ever really performed on. So, you know, that's a fact. I don't think anyone can argue about that with us, no matter how much you love AEW. The women aren't getting treated the way that they deserve to be treated. Even WWE is treating their women better. Their women get at least 2 matches on every show. So, you know, that's a problem when WWE is doing a better job with their women's division than AEW.
And that's saying something considering the fucking Queen of the Ring tournament didn't even lapse 20 minutes in total. Mm-hmm. What a joke. Britt Baker is such a and Britt Baker is such a great performer and someone that I want to see. Mm-hmm. And the build for this matchup was that she interrupted Anna Jay when she was getting interviewed backstage, which led to something with Ty Conti, and Ty Conti beat Jamie Hayter in a match. And then there was maybe a tag team, whatever the fuck happened. It's so uninteresting that I can't really remember everything that happened, but the build for this was fucking shit. There was nothing to it. It was so boring, bro. Okay. Time to move forward. Eddie Kingston, CM Punk, the match that we were looking forward to most on this show. Let me know.
Yeah, I would say that this match delivered. I really liked how this match opened up before the bell even rang. Boom, back fist to the future. Knocked Punk out cold. He sold for a good long while. This is Eddie Kingston's finishing move. Punk could have been down for a count of about 20 there before he actually started working his way back up to his feet. Beautiful work. Didn't undersell or bury Kingston's finisher. This match was the if Darby versus MJF was the catch as catch can wrestling match of the night, and Miro versus Bryan Danielson was kind of like the submission match of the night, I would say that this match, Eddie Kingston versus CM Punk, was the big knockdown drag out fight of the evening. I think that's what most people expected. They delivered just that. This was a physical match. Everything didn't look like it was so precise and smooth and stuff like that. But in the context of this match, that worked, you know, because this was a fight. This wasn't a wrestling match. It was a fight. And it was like they were clawing at each other's eyes and trying to, you know, hook each other's mouths and anything that they could do to try to get the advantage, to try to get the upper hand in this fight so they could just get back on top and start laying in the punches again. That's what they did. And then, yes, we did see a GTS later on. We did see, you know, a Punk flying clothesline and a couple of, you know, the classic Punk spots. But for the most part, this thing was basically a drawn-out slugfest. And, you know, I found myself being very surprised at how behind Eddie Kingston the audience was. It was more than just a case of like, oh, they really like Kingston here. I mean, they're in Minneapolis. They're not in Kingston's hometown. And here he is against the biggest star in the company, getting such good reactions that he's getting the Let's Go Punk, fucking Let's Go Eddie dueling chants. There are people chanting Eddie, Eddie, Eddie when he's in charge. They wanted him to win. By the end of this, by the time Punk was getting ready to finish this off and hit the GTS, the crowd was booing it. And I don't think that's because CM Punk's worn out his welcome. I still think they love him and they're digging him and he's still the number one guy. I think that they just like Kingston so much that they wanted to see him be rewarded with a win over a star the magnitude of CM Punk in this match. And that is saying something because Kingston ended up losing to Miro, even though that was a great feud in the making, a classic feud, which in my opinion shouldn't have even been blown off until this pay-per-view we just saw. This match was between Punk and Kingston, was hastily built. Punk's been bouncing around between mini program to mini program. Here it is again. Immediately, like, this match was good enough. They wanted to see Kingston win so he could have that moment, and I think they want to see this match happen again. And it was disappointing when Punk inevitably got the win with the GTS, but I do think that if Kingston can come back in a rematch and maybe even get the win, that would be the right thing to do. I was definitely surprised by how pro Kingston the crowd ended up being. Testament to what great performers both of these guys are. I'm giving this match an A-, bro. I really enjoyed it. And I think it was maybe the only match of the entire thing besides the opener that didn't have a bit of a kind of a wonky finish.
It's too late now. It's too late now. I don't give a fuck about a rematch. I don't care. He should have fucking won this match. Who's Punk gonna lose to? Who's he gonna lose to?
Yeah.
If you can't see where things are headed with the audience, if you keep going against the grain, you're going to fucking hurt people in their career. Eddie Kingston was on fire in that feud with Miro. Okay? He came up short, but fuck, if you gave him that rematch a few weeks down the line, you could really believe that he would be the one that would take the fucking TNT title. And then maybe the TNT title would be on this fucking show. Yeah. Instead of the guy who won the belt is in a fucking multi-man match. You went against the grain with him there. Okay? The crowd were behind him. You've tried to turn him heel to work him with Punk, and the crowd is still with him. They liked everything he had to say in that big promo that they had on Rampage, which no one fucking watches. You can see that people were really invested in this story between the two that they fucking pulled out of their ass with that promo, because before that, all this was based on was Eddie Kingston interrupting CM Punk when he was doing a fucking interview, and then Punk wanted an apology for it. Then we got some actual fucking meat on the bone when they had that face-to-face.
Yeah.
People are invested. They wanted to see this. As far as I was concerned, every comment that I saw out there, people were fucking looking at this match on this show. More than the main event, as far as I'm concerned. For me, I was more interested in seeing what would happen here. And you made Eddie look like a fucking bitch. What you fucking did was Punk called him a bum. Now what's Punk's proven he was right. Punk's proven that Kingston ain't got it. And I feel bad for Kingston because he's a fucking awesome performer, and I believe in him. I believe the believability is off the charts. Look at that back fist before the bell rang. Look at him when he stormed into the ring for the match. He's fucking ready. He doesn't care if he wins or loses. That's fine. He's going to hurt him. Didn't really hurt him.
No.
All that ended up happening was okay. The match ended so fucking flat as far as I was concerned, because we saw a GTS, and then Kingston got the advantage again, and then he did the go to sleep thing, and then that, and then he got fucking a second GTS, and then it was over. And I'm like, where was the suspense there? Where was the suspense in the finish? Yeah. Not at one point in that match did I actually believe Kingston was going to win with a near fall. And I wrote, fuck me dead, what is with the finishes? And then after the match, Punk puts his hand out, and then Eddie walks away like that's going to get his heat back. Is he turned heel? Because if he's turned heel, he looks like he's fucking useless, and he can't fucking do it. And he just walked off without getting any heat back. If he wanted to really do anything with this, and you needed Punk to win, then I would have had fucking Kingston bludgeon the fuck out of him. I would have had referees try to stop him. I'd have him knock them the fuck out. I'd have him get maybe suspended off TV. And then, maybe later down the line, he's fucking forgotten all about Kingston. And then I'd have him fucking go after Punk again. And now he's even more fucking just a fucking animal. Now he's even more obsessed with fucking with CM Punk. You know,
Yeah.
instead you went with the fucking foregone conclusion. You went with what was predictable. Punk gets the win. Yay. Do something different. Extend this fucking thing. Let's fucking sink our teeth into it. Kingston's the one that beats Punk. Wow. Who would have fucking seen that coming? That would have been amazing. But they didn't do it. They fucked him with Miro, and then they fucked him here. Right. Baron von Raschke is seen at ringside. I like it.
Yeah.
Thank you for paying homage and tribute to the legends, AEW.
Yeah.
I've never faltered how you treat Arn, Tully, Sting, Baron right here. Very nice. Okay. My turn again, bro. American Top Team versus Inner Circle in a street fight. Oh, boy. This is the match that broke my heart for this show. I was already mad enough, and this made it even worse.
Mm-hmm.
Tag team format for a street fight. Santana and Ortiz out of the blue early in the match do some double team moves. Aubrey doesn't give a shit. Then there's a tag. Then all of a sudden it breaks down once Lambert gets in the ring. And then it doesn't matter that it's a tag match anymore. Why do it in the first place? Because you're going to get a couple of spots in or whatever? Who's fucking agenting this shit? Who's doing this? This is comical to me. I can't fucking believe it. Why have tag format if you're just going to let it just break out and not give a fuck anyway? It should just been a fucking all-out brawl from the beginning, but no. So essentially this is 4-on-5 the whole fucking time because Lambert's fucking hiding. He pulls out a massive fucking lead pipe at one stage. I don't think he even fucking really did anything with it. All right, this is a mess. More shit takes place. Hager goes off the top rope with an axe handle and lands in the middle of a fucking pack and doesn't... Enough with the dives. Shit, bro. I'm going to be wrecking the rest of this show still. I ain't even fucking started, to be honest with you. Aaron's spot was fantastic. Popped for it. Loved it. The finish of the match. All of these baby faces went over on this show except the MJF and the Britt Baker match. All of these. So I was certain here, at least, surely they're going to figure out a way to get American Top Team over in their first fucking opportunity on pay-per-view as a team to legitimize themselves. Everyone gets taken out. Jericho's got Lambert. He's going to go for a lion salt. He jumps into that second rope. And this is the problem having the MMA guys there and not fucking agenting this thing properly or having fucking vocal cues from the referee to make sure that fucking... I can't even remember his name.
Junior Dos Santos.
Yeah, Santos. I'll just say Santos because I'm not going to remember it. You've got a referee there. Fucking ensure that these guys that aren't very fucking familiar with pro wrestling, ensure that they know where their spots are. Jericho goes for the line salt, stops on the second rope, and calls his name out. Junior. Oh, God, that was the most embarrassing thing on the show. Embarrassing, bro. I couldn't believe it. This is fucking Bush League fucking shit. Don't do it in the first place if you're not going to be able to do it right.
Yeah,
Ends up getting fucking nailed.
That was probably the most significant moment that Dos Santos was supposed to do in the match. And he wasn't there for it, and you can't put that all on him because he's not... Yeah,
it's not his fault.
Pro wrestling, but he's not used to being in that environment with the split second time cues and stuff. You need to make sure that you're on his ass and that he's in position when you go to do the spot. Not have Jericho run up and do the springboard. Then he's standing there looking like an idiot because he's fucking not made sure that Dos Santos is in position.
They put themselves in that spot, bro, because if he wasn't there for the spot, Jericho couldn't execute the lion salt because he's not going to hit that on Dan Lambert. But he wasn't in spot for it. He ends up getting knocked down with a fucking kendo stick again, and then Jericho suddenly now it's another Eddie tribute. Fucking hits a frog splash and gets the win. And I'm like, well, what's the fucking point of all this then? With all this build up for this fucking shambles of a street fight, and he wins with a frog splash on Dan Lambert. Okay. The MMA guys don't want to see him on the show anymore. Dan Lambert, he's done. This was his first opportunity to finally get over as a heel and outsmart someone. And you had him get pinned. On our Dynamite review the other day, I said Dan Lambert pins Jericho in this match. Then let Jericho get the fucking comeuppance down the line. You want to fuck those fans off. All right? You want to fuck Jericho off. He beat MJF last pay-per-view. It ain't going to hurt him if one of these MMA guys fucking knocks him the fuck out. There was another guy that didn't even make it to the team that could have interfered and even the odds, so it wasn't 4-5 because Dan Lambert wasn't doing shit anyway. I don't know what the point of all of this was because Dan Lambert didn't do anything. He was just there to fucking take the pin and this didn't do anything for anyone. It just made everyone look fucking stupid. So Dan Lambert, like, as far as I'm concerned, like, there's no legitimacy to his character anymore because he couldn't back up his words. Just like all the other fucking heels that can't back up their words. You know, you let someone get to him this early. Yeah, this is something you say for a bigger show later on. You wait for it. You wait for that fucking thing, bro. Heenan didn't get fucking bumped every fucking match. Heenan fucking got his fucking shit going. You know, that was a manager that fucking when they finally get taken down, they can finally get fucked over. It's at the perfect time that you've waited for. You do it every show, or you know, you do it the first time that they have a chance to fucking prove themselves. Then there's no legitimacy to them anymore. Sorry, bro.
I remember the first show that I did as a manager, and the very first match that I was in, they had me take a bump on the apron. And I was just like, why am I taking a bump on the apron? I've only just started. And they're like, oh, because, you know, like he'll move out of the way and you'll be standing there. So it'll just be like an accident. It won't be like the guy's getting over on you directly. And it's like, all right, I'll do what you say, but it doesn't really make much sense, you know?
Yeah,
kind of immediately defeats the purpose of having me out there. But I was just
right. They did the same thing with Klaus and that company. Every show took a bump. But anyway, continue.
I was just going to say, I can't help but think if the Diamond Mind were facing off against the Inner Circle in this match, the Diamond Mind wouldn't have let themselves be humiliated like that. And they're not even composed of like legit MMA fighters. They're all pro wrestlers with some amateur backgrounds. But it's just like they carry themselves over on NXT the way that American Top Team should carry themselves. They spent all that time piss farting around and joking and snickering on the stage because they knew they were so much tougher than the Inner Circle. Then it gets down to not cutting time in the actual fucking match, and they just neutered all the MMA guys. And Top Team USA looked like they were out of their depth because at least the wrestling people in the match actually understood the rules and the way that it worked. And it looked like a lot of the MMA guys, even the ones that have had experience in matches before, did not seem like they were ready for a pay-per-view multi-man match with multiple time cues in it. And it tore down the quality of the match overall, what could have been a really fun match. Second of all, you don't even have to have Lambert's team go over in the match. It's just like Carl said, though, you don't have Dan Lambert get his comeuppance yet. You keep him weaseling out of the punishment. Like, you know, maybe Orlovsky or Dos Santos takes the punishment this match. They still didn't get Dan Lambert. You know, he keeps escaping. That builds it into a fever pitch for whoever does finally get the comeuppance on him. But it wasn't time yet. Because when he comes out on Dynamite next Wednesday and starts doing the same shit about what a bunch of whiny, inclusive, virtue signaling dickheads the fans are and all these baby faces are, he's just going to sound stupid because he couldn't back any of that rhetoric up when push came to shove in the ring. You know, I understand that they were going for the idea of like, Lambert talks a big game, but when it actually comes down to it, he can't really back it up physically because he's an older guy. And I understand that was a part of it, right? I'm not saying that was incorrect to do, but the fact is that yes, he can't back it up in the ring. He is in immediate danger as soon as he's involved in a match in the ring. And that is why it's all the more imperative that somehow he manages to escape this match out of harm's way. Maybe at some point in the match, Lambert gets involved at the wrong time and boom, Jericho nails him with the Judas effect. And then he rolls back out of the ring. We don't see him for the rest of the match. So he's been hit with the Judas effect, but he still hasn't been beaten down. You know, we've shown that if he gets into the wrong place in the wrong time, he'll be in trouble. But ultimately, they didn't get him in the end of it. They had to settle for pinning somebody else, a smaller fish in this whole feud. That is what you needed to do. That was the point of putting Dan Lambert into the match, not because you were actually going to give him his comeuppance, but because we're on the journey towards giving him his comeuppance so that it can be 1,000 times bigger when it finally does happen. But no, they've always got to blow their load early. They're the kings of pre-jack in this company, and this match is getting a D+. It was an unfortunate letdown.
If Dan Lambert and his team can't get established, then where do you go with that from here with them? Yeah, the opportunity to be established and show that they can come up with a game plan and somehow, by the skin of their teeth, get by.
Yeah.
You can't even do it the first time around. Then what's the point of them being around? Because they can't even get it done here.
Yeah.
You know,
at least it needed to be a situation, bro, where if you wanted to have the inner circle go over, because maybe these MMA guys aren't as experienced in the ring, and you could tell that just from looking at it. But if you wanted to have inner circle go over, it's simple. You just don't have them go over on Dan Lambert. You have it in a situation so that Lambert can throw the blame at somebody else next week. And he can go, I had the perfect game plan. My plan was perfection. I knew exactly what I was doing. We were so close to executing on our game plan. But fucking Arlovsky doesn't have the experience, didn't have the guts, and he cost us this match. It was his fault, not my fault. And then how's he going to weasel his way out of the next situation and so on? This way, he took all of the fucking abuse was heaped on Lambert. It makes him directly responsible for the team sucking because he was the one that was speaking for everybody throughout this whole thing. All right, I could go on about it, you know, but that's it. I'm going to leave it there.
Yeah, he's got no legitimacy now. I really like the character, but I don't care anymore.
Through no fault, he does a good job. He himself.
He's fantastic, but they fucked him. Just like they fucked Kingston, they fucked him. You know? But you don't get hate, Tony. You don't get hate. This guy gets more hate than anyone on the show, and you already let someone get to him. What a fucking letdown. Moving forward, bro. The 4,000th signing to AEW's revealed. Jay Lethal. Love Jay Lethal. Love him. But you just signed Bobby Fish. You just signed Tony Nese. How many more people are you going to put on your roster to be stuck on Dark and Elevation? Because he's not beating Sammy on Dynamite. I'm telling you right now, Sammy's only defended the belt twice. He ain't losing it yet because, you know, God forbid someone actually loses the title and they hot potatoed around for a second. No, everyone gets a long title reign in AEW. You never kept on your toes. You never know. Or maybe he might lose a hit. No. You knew Ethan Page wasn't going to win it. You knew Bobby Fish wasn't going to win it. Mm-hmm. Foregone conclusions all over this bitch. So congratulations to Jay. I know that Ring of Honor, things aren't going well there for them. So I'm happy that he's going to be okay going forward. But, you know, he talks about the forbidden door. There is no forbidden door. Everyone's getting signed, bro. Anyone can get a fucking job with AEW. And Sammy comes out and referees like try and get him away. Like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
You have referees pull Sammy away after he's had a hard match away from Jay Lethal. Yeah, when Moxley a few months ago is getting the fucking shit kicked out of him by the Elite, no one fucking comes out and helps. Mm-hmm. What do you think of Jay Lethal coming in, bro?
I think it's a good signing, but I think that they're already at the point where they're signing people who are getting lost in the shuffle a week later. Especially since they've now had 2 shows on. It almost seems like because they got 2 shows a week, now the bloom goes off the rose even faster. Because by the following week's Dynamite, you know, we're already 2 matches in, and one of them might have been a loss, depending on what the debut has been. I think it's a good idea to sign Lethal. I think that I don't think he'll have as much of a problem with getting lost in the shuffle because he's such a charismatic guy and he's already got quite a name and no one's ever used him in a prominent role on TV. I think there'll be guys like Matt Hardy and Christian and stuff that will really enjoy getting the chance to work with him. But I do think it's just like they need to slow down on signing people. The wrestling industry is not going anywhere. If you don't sign these people, they can still make a living on the independent scene. They're still going to be there in 1 or 2 years, you know? Not everyone needs to be signed immediately and just lost in the shuffle so that they come out and you go, oh, I didn't even realize they were under contract.
Man, you signed Mark Henry to do it 1 interview a week on Rampage. All this money that's being spent, bro.
I can imagine.
And Tony wants to talk about WCW not knowing what to do with them. Yeah. Fuck you, dude. You were spending so much fucking money. You were going to kill this thing in a few years. Or your dad's going to be like, hey, whoa, you know, we've nearly spent $1 billion on this fucking company and, you know, you're not turning a profit. Are they turning a profit? I'd have a hard time believing so.
I have to think they're making money, but I also have to think if they audited the company and they really sat down and looked at, okay, when's the last time that you really used this talent in a prominent role? I imagine that half of their talent role you could excise from the roster to save money, and it wouldn't make a difference to the product right now. And that's
Brian Cage must say that Jay Lethal gets signed and be like, fuck, how am I going to get on the show?
Well, when's the last time that we've seen Brian Pillman Jr. or Griff Garrison?
I was going to say that last week, but I forgot. Where's the Varsity Blondes?
Yeah. Or Julia Hart, or fucking like, the list is endless. The list goes on.
You're already having a hard time with so many fucking people, and you're still signing more. Like, when's fucking Wyndham Rotunda coming in? Because when that happens, so many of these guys will be like, we're fucking done. There's only so much TV time, man.
Yeah, they need to stop signing so many people. Or what I think they need to do more significantly is also they need to take people like Wheeler Yuta and put them off the show and say, you're on Dark and Elevation until further notice, till we need you, till we have an opportunity to rotate you in. It's ridiculous. It seems like they've always got their 10 major names that they're using on the show at any given time. And then on about a monthly basis, about 5 of those 10 people get rotated out, and the remaining ones are the Elite and fucking Hangman Adam Page. And then everyone else is on like a rotating basis.
Yeah, when was the last time you saw fucking 2.0 and fucking Daniel Garcia after being such menaces on the show for fucking weeks on end, and they just fucking disappeared?
He was having a singles match against CM Punk.
And what since then? Yeah.
Nothing. So now when he comes back, he's nowhere near having another match against CM Punk. Whereas you'd think if they're going to put him into that situation, bro, he's surely on a journey towards more prominent matches. But I guess not. Anyway, let's not get too carried away.
What about QT Marshall, bro? There's so many people. But yeah, I need a 5-minute break. No, 2-minute break.
All right.
Thank you for that, bro. I just need a quick break.
I need water.
Yeah, I'm trying to calm myself down. I've been pretty pissed off, you know. Okay, bro. Main event time. This match that's been built up for quite a while. You know, little things happened here and there along the way that they can go back to, which makes it seem like a really convoluted feud. But I, as we said last week, we kind of felt like it was, you know, because Hangman had some time off because his wife had a baby, which is, of course. But it felt like they kind of rushed into this, despite the fact that it's actually been building for quite some time. So I kept thinking, well, shit. Only 2 heels have gone over in this show, so maybe Omega fucking retains it here. That's what I was thinking going into this, bro. I'm going to let you take the floor here. The main event, Kenny Omega with Don Callis at ringside taking on Adam Hangman Page.
Well, I think that, as much as we both agree with, it's great that he wanted to take the paternity leave, take some time off, be with his wife. It's their first child. It's a new experience. And he obviously wanted to be there to look after her. And I respect that, like a man that puts his wife before his own needs. That is great. Having said that, though, the fact that he took a break for honorable reasons does not change the fact that he took a break. So therefore, while he has been away, even though it's with the most noble of reasons, he has been passed over in the line by other people. And in my opinion, he needed to spend the next 2 or 3 months getting back up to that same point. All of the footage and all the other stuff they've done with him up to this point still was going to be there in the can for when they were ready for it. I don't think that they needed to rush Hangman Page back to a world title position so soon after coming back. I think that the heels, for their part, should have, especially Omega, should have been in ultra asshole mode and going like, look, quite a bit of the landscape's changed while you've been away. Punk's here. Danielson's here. Bobby Fish is here, and he's just joined us. So-and-so is here. All these different people. So that, to me, should have added another layer of tension onto Adam Page's chase for the championship gold. Now he has to try and push his way, scratch and claw his way back to the front of the contender list so that he can get this title shot. Unfortunately, they did not do that. Having said that, in a vacuum, this match was fantastic. Omega really went above and beyond to showcase Hangman Adam Page. I felt like he really took the lead in this match. I felt like he really stole this match. Kenny Omega is capable of some quite spectacular things, as we all would know, but I felt like he really kind of let Adam Page kind of have his moment in this match. And this was, not only was this the moment where Adam Page was going to get anointed with the belt, but it was also a real showcase for all those people that might not be as familiar with him, showing just how tough and just how far Adam Page can go to get the job done. So I wanted to give credit to Kenny Omega there. It was clear that, he really performed as a champion should perform in this match. He was obviously like a ring general in this match. He was clearly knew what he was there to do, knew that he was there to kind of anoint the next guy. And I felt like he did a tremendous job at that. Adam Page did a great job of getting, even the more reluctant viewers like myself into this match. I felt like I couldn't help but get hooked into it as it went along. It was telling a really good story. I liked Adam Page's fire. I liked his, I liked the tenacity that he showed, like the grit that he showed. And I liked the fact that as the match is going on, Omega, even though he's this cocky asshole and he knows what he's capable of, he's starting to get more frustrated. And it was almost like he was starting to get desperate the longer that the match went on, because he's throwing everything he can at Adam Page and he's still not getting the job done. I actually quite enjoyed the sort of closing moments of this match. Ref gets fucking plastered with a buckshot lariat. Omega pushes the ref in front of, in the lariat's path. What an asshole. Great desperation move for any heel to be in. Page is still in control at this point. Don Callis comes in with the belt. He's about to hit him with the belt. Adam Page stops him, catches him in time. He takes out Don Callis. While he's doing that, boom, that enables Omega to get a hectic shot in with the belt. Near fall again there because the ref's been knocked out. At this point, boom, Hangman Adam Page is ready to nail a couple of buckshot lariats. Boom, finally nails that final buckshot lariat, pins him. The Young Bucks come out right before that final buckshot lariat. You're wondering, are they going to interfere? Page is on one side of the ring. There's Nick Jackson. Page is setting up for that buckshot. He stares in Nick Jackson's eyes. Nick Jackson nods at him and says, yeah, Kenny's our guy, but you know what? You've earned this moment, and they don't stand in his way. Same thing on the other side. Adam Page goes across. He's going to deliver one more just to make sure because it is a championship match. Same thing with the other Buck on the other side. He also says, I'm not going to get involved. that's what Carl was referring to earlier, because that's the guy that took the concerto. So he shouldn't have been out there. It should have been another member of the Elite, like maybe even like Adam Cole, even though Cole hasn't been in there for that long, to give that nod of approval in that situation. But I liked the touch overall of a couple of Kenny's boys giving Paige the nod of approval, because it harkens back to when Paige was with them. Boom, Paige hits it. Hell of a celebration. The Dark Order came out. Normally, I find this Dark Order shit to be annoying, but in this case, I think it was a valid time for them to actually come out and have a bit and be a part of the celebration. They all came out. They had a nice group hug. It didn't steal the entire celebration. It was still Adam Page's moment and his time to pass. So even though we have had a lot of problems with this show, and I had a problem with Paige already winning this match, I think that the way that they went about the actual match itself was probably one of the more solid matches on the show. And I thought that the finish for this one actually worked quite well, because it felt like they'd built that tension up enough and then blew it off at the right time, rather than pushing past that moment of climax and waiting until it had already petered out. So I'm going to give this main event here, Full Gear, a B-. I thought this was a really good match. Unfortunately, the opening match between Darby Allin and MJF is going to be the only A-graded match for this pay-per-view, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say.
Yeah, I was so burned out on the show at this point that we were in the Discord call together, and I barely said anything the whole match. I was so done after what I just witnessed before this match, so I just couldn't jump into this with my heart. First note I wrote, it had been a bit into the match, and I saw Don Callis' shoes, and I wrote that they are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But before this, I was so burned out and just pissed off at the horrible decisions that have been implemented on this show that I had a hard time caring, especially seeing all the fans just love it so much. And I was like, you can't see what I see. There must be something wrong with me. I must be such a bitter fan now that I can't even just enjoy a pay-per-view with some pretty good matches, because the decision-making behind the finishes and the angles, the stories just blew my mind over how clueless someone can be. Yeah, you guys want to rip on Vince Russo, you want to rip on WWE. WWE get it wrong quite a lot. And I know Survivor Series next weekend is going to be fucking horrible. But I can't fucking stand 15 weeks now. I can't stand it anymore. Everyone does a fucking suicide dive. Everyone does a kip up. There was a moonsault from the top to the outside, mate. We've already seen it on the show once. It's not special. It's not, even though when Hangman does it, it's wicked. Hangman's great. Like, I'm a big fan of his. I really like that guy. He's cool. With Omega, I feel like, and this will probably get heat, but I feel like all of his matches are the fucking same. He had a fucking knee to the running fucking fierce knee to the face several times, and the person's fine like 2 seconds later.
Yeah.
My knee to the face.
You need somebody like that, you'd kill him, bro. Like, you can kill somebody by hitting them like that.
So that Snapdragon on the ring apron, very fucking dangerous. And he took that, then a V trigger, and then he was okay.
Yeah.
He took that. Don't do the bump. Don't do the apron bump then, because the apron is the stiffest part of the ring, and a fucking dragon suplex onto it should have him knocked the fuck out. He shouldn't be up fucking 25 seconds later. No. He went for a Tiger Driver at 98. And again, just let Cody just have it. You don't need to have it. You don't need to have it. Okay? He didn't hit the move, but still.
He did.
Why does everyone share? He did. Yeah, he did. Well, why does everyone share so many moves? Yeah. Everyone does a fucking super kick.
Yeah.
Everyone does all these fucking, several people do a stunner. Several people do a tombstone. It's enough, man. Think of something else. There's heaps of moves. There's fucking thousands of wrestling moves. If you do everything and everything isn't enough, then everything means nothing.
Yeah, I mean, like, I remember when we used to train, on when they would have a show, they'd tell the guys on the card, like, talk to each other, because I don't want to see 10 shooting star presses. So they would say,
you don't want to see the same thing in someone else's match. That's like rule number fucking one.
That's right. That was one of the first things you get taught. Even if you go back and watch that movie, The Wrestler, there's a scene before a show, and those two guys are there, and they're going, "Hey, look, we're thinking about working the leg in our match. Is anyone else going to work?"
Hey, no, we're working the leg. We're working the leg in our match. Oh, you're working the leg. Oh, okay. We'll do something like that.
Yeah, we'll work the arm because
it's elementary.
That's right, because you don't want to take the shine away from what people have done before you, or especially from what is coming later. Adam Page is going to do a diving moonsault off the top rope. Guess what? He's the only person who's going to be doing a moonsault on that show. Not because everybody else can't do it, not because other people don't do really pretty moonsaults when they do them, but because he's the guy that's winning the title and having his big moment on the show. So he should be doing a moonsault, because you want to look back on this match and think of him soaring through the air like an eagle, not 5 other people before that match. Oh, it was kind of cool when Adam Page did it in the main event, but we also saw it a few other times beforehand, and it was also cool. So all of those moonsaults can be cool, but no one moonsault was really cool, because we saw 4 or 5 of them.
Exactly, bro. When I was booking for WZWA, the backyard wrestling group that we had, that's something that I would say. Like, look, man, don't do this because this guy already does this. Don't do that move. This guy already does that move. It's elementary shit, bro.
And if you're thinking about that for backyard wrestling, then there's no excuse for a professional outfit to be doing it. You are, you know what, man? And if everyone thinks that we're harping on it too much, we're going too much into our complaints on this review. The fact that we have to go into these little sidebars is it's evident the lack of knowledge that some of these people on this program have, because they should already know this stuff. The fact that another match is a totally different match from yours doesn't mean that the audience weren't just sitting there and watching all the matches that came on before you. Just because you can do the same thing you saw that other guy do doesn't mean that you need to, or that you should.
I like the ref bump, bro.
Yeah.
I like that bit. Next bit, I want to talk about the Kawada kicks. And I wrote, we don't give a fuck. I wish Bobby Heenan and Dusty Rhodes were on commentary with Excalibur, because once upon a time in WCW, Tony Schiavone called a Masahiro Chono kick a mafia kick. And Dusty and Heenan got on him immediately. What do you mean it's a mafia kick, Schiavone? He kicked the man in the face. That's all it was. And then Heenan would be like, oh, he's going to hit him with a Yugoslavian backbreaker. Like, Excalibur, enough with all these things, man. You come across hell fucking nerdy, all right? The casual fans out there do not give a flying fuck about the technical words used. Tope suicide dive. Just say suicide dive. Anyway, look, we're getting close to the end here, bro.
I know, and I want to point out before we get to the end here, I would like to point out on that note, I thought the commentary team knocked it out of the park on this show.
Oh, they nail it.
I would not have been able to get through this show without the commentators. Tony Schiavone is a breath of fresh air. He watches the shows like a fan. Yes, he's that legendary WCW announcer, but he's been out of the game for 20 years. And every time he commentates one of these shows, it's like he's discovering wrestling all over again.
It's a trait.
And
it's a trait.
Yeah, and it is a breath of fresh air. Jim Ross, he has nothing left to prove in his career. He sits there with his good old buddy, Tony Schiavone, and they like to crack little jokes. And Jim Ross likes to make all of his classic calls and try to apply his old school psychology to the modern stuff that he's seeing. And so he clearly has a good time. A rejuvenated Jim Ross, because there's so many young people on the roster, people in their 20s, that when Jim Ross was calling Evolution segments on Raw, people were only toddlers back then. Now those are the people that are on the show now. And I feel like that breathes energy into Jim. And then you have Excalibur in the middle, who does a good job of kind of the heavy lifting on the team to kind of give Tony and JR a bit of a break because they're a bit older. I felt like they were firing on all cylinders. I felt like all three commentators managed to pop me like several times, whether it be a little joke they crack at each other or whether it be catching one another's mistakes that they make or whether it just be literally pointing out holes that they found in the story. You know, I really just thought that they were a pleasure to listen to. I want to point that out.
Fair enough, bro. So back to the match. I just kept thinking there's constant fucking no selling. I mean, this is good, but man, like,
yeah,
I can't get into this anymore. So Hangman Page wins. I don't really like the whole, like, I get it. They're all friends and they want to have this little moment or whatever. But there's no pretense to the Young Bucks being completely okay with their friend that they've helped fucking try and beat all these other people. There's no pretense to them just suddenly being like, yeah, man, go for it. It's a nice little moment. Trust me, it's
enough. Yeah.
It was nice to see. Yeah, like I get it. I got it. But at the same time, it's like it's not the time and place for it. Like it just didn't feel like that there was any pretense to them suddenly being okay with it, considering the shit that they've done and that they've said about it in the previous few weeks. All of a sudden now they've changed their mind and have a change of heart. I hope they don't turn babyface, please, for the love of God.
That's what we were talking about, bro, about how maybe it was a little too soon to pull the trigger on this. Because if they had Omega go over in this match and then they'd had the Bucks do that maybe in the rematch, then you'd be like, okay.
Then you have time to tell the story as you get there so that it makes sense that they give the nod to him.
Amen.
So, okay, bro. New champion. I'm very happy for Hangman Page. I like him. Don't think that they went about it the correct way. But judging by the rest of the show, they didn't go about 90% of it the right way. So, I'm going to ask you right now for your rating out of 10 for Full Gear 2021.
You know, it's such a shame, bro, because when we turned on this show and it started with Darby Allin versus MJF, an A+ match, one of the best matches I've seen all year. I really, really enjoyed it. I know you really, really enjoyed it. I was so looking forward to, man, I hope that they just knock another pay-per-view out of the park. And I already can tell that whatever I rate, it's probably going to be higher than what you're going to rate it. But, like, I feel like that it's such a shame. There was so much potential for this show to be another great show, just based on the lineup, but it was just the execution of so many things was just either an afterthought or it was just poorly executed and dragged it down. And as a result, I'm going to give this show a 6. I'm giving it a 6 because I think that it was a bit better than a 5. I think that a number of the matches on the show that, like, I thought that they were really good, and we didn't see any backstage segments or anything like that. It was just matches. So this was basically an all wrestling pay-per-view. And I think that a lot of the people involved delivered in the ring, even if the booking didn't always match up with that, which is why it's getting a 6 instead of a 5 or a 4.5.
Okay, bro. I'm going to give it a 2. I was going to give it a 1. But I felt like Darby and MJF did such a good job that I should give it a 2 based on just that match. That match made me feel something. I liked it. I popped for the finish. Everything else in the show, the finish was incorrect. Not based on my opinion, based on fucking fact. I don't care what anyone out there says. Okay, I had an argument the other day about someone about how AEW didn't do anything for the for Impact for their feud. They didn't. And someone said, no, what I'm saying is fact, not opinion. Fuck you, dude. And then he blocked me because I came back with another retort and he had nothing else to say. Everything on the show had such great potential. What a bunch of great matches that I was looking forward to going down the line. Lucha Brothers and FTR. I love FTR. I love Christian. Thought he could have pulled something out there. Love Pac, Malakai, Andrade, terrible finish. Britt Baker, Ty Conti, weird finish. Kingston and Punk, they fuck Kingston. Love them both. Enjoy most of the Inner Circle. Enjoy the American Top Team, shit finish. And I like Hangman Page, but again, by that point, I'd had enough. So 2 out of 10, and I'm not reviewing AEW anymore. So I'm really sorry, bro. I enjoy sitting there watching shit with you. It's cool hanging out. We can still do our NXT review. Maybe we can find something else to review for the second review of the week, but I'm not putting myself through it anymore. The All Out was awesome. It was awesome. But they have let me down more times over the last 15 weeks than they have made me feel good about being a wrestling fan and believing that this could be something that really goes somewhere. I really want it to go somewhere, but there's proof in the pudding right here that Tony Khan cannot write a wrestling show that I'm going to enjoy. And I can't put myself through the stress and the anger watching something that I fucking despise. I like the go home show, but I can't fucking do it anymore, man. Like, I can't believe that, I'd be willing to give up a show that seems to most of the time get a lot of views on our YouTube channel, but I don't want to fucking get pissed off anymore. This is why I don't watch WWE anymore. I'd be happy to review the AEW pay-per-views going forward. So I guess the next one will be Revolution maybe or whatever. That will be fine, but I don't really want to sit there and be angry all the time. If I don't like it, then I don't want to watch it. And that's why I think the ratings are going down, because although I'm a diehard wrestling fan, I also look at things like a casual fan. So I'm really sorry, bro, but I don't really want to review AEW anymore.
It's an investment of time as well. We have to make sure that we sit down and watch the show. And then while we watch the show, we have to watch it with a more critical lens, through a more critical lens. I'm a little bit more forgiving than you. I'm kind of the nice one out of our group. Like, if you and I are the American Idol judges, you're definitely Simon Cowell, and I'm Paula Abdul, and I don't care that she's a woman. I would love to be compared to Paula Abdul. She's a goddess. But yeah, I'm definitely the nicer one. But I understand it as well, man, from your point of view. Like, I understand, it gets exhausting. It is exhausting when things piss you off. And a lot of people will complain, well, if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. Well, there you go. He's just decided that he doesn't want to watch it anymore. We may end up reviewing other shows in the future, depending on what happens. If it's going to be something else that's going to happen that really sets the industry on fire, we may revisit an episode in the future if something big's happening. But as it stands right now, after this pay-per-view, it doesn't seem like, I don't really feel an urgent compulsion to tune in next week and see what's going to happen, unlike I did after the All Out pay-per-view. It just feels like, okay, they've got Punk in, they've got Bryan Danielson in, they've got all these guys coming in now. They've shifted some momentum over to them, and they've gotten some attention on them. Now they're just going back to the same old, let's just please the Smart Mark fans, and let's just have a bunch of crazy shit that everyone can go, ooh, to. And let's forget about trying to be like a serious wrestling product. And which is a shame, because it seemed like for a while in the build up towards Punk, basically from Nick Gage's match onwards, as Punk started to get ready to come in, and then when he came in and stuff, it really seemed like they'd turned a corner, like they were actually kind of really taking that step towards becoming like a genuine number two, not just in numbers or infrastructure, but in terms of quality of product. And then it seems like they got up to that high point, which would have been All Out. And then slowly we've just been going back down the other side of that mountain. It's a shame. I enjoy the weekly reviews. It's nice having something to look forward to reviewing every week. But you are right, man. It does seem like a lot of these episodes, it's very hit and miss. Some days we sit down and watch it, and, we end up having a good laugh and having a good time. Other times we end up just miserable, and it's like, oh, we've been sitting here for 2 hours just waiting for the show to end rather than, wanting more, like after we watch an NWA show or something like that.
Yeah, I I can't put myself through it anymore. It's 15 weeks is long enough. You know, I look at the card for this week and I just know who's winning everything. And Orange Cassidy's mystery partner is going to be Tomohiro Ishii. Who? I don't know who. I don't care. They're going to win. They're not bringing this guy in for them to lose to Butcher and the Blade, who have been sorely misused for months on end. Look what they did
to Minoru Suzuki.
I'm just bored. I'm bored and I'm done. Man.
I saw Minoru Suzuki do like dozens of independent wrestling matches in America. Each and every one of them treated him like he was the baddest man on the planet and like his opponent was lucky to survive. Most of the time he won. If he didn't win, it was with something so ridiculous that nobody could have kicked out of it. AEW brung him in twice and managed to cut his nuts off, man.
Yeah, well, good for him. Yeah. So sorry, everyone out there who probably enjoy our AEW reviews, probably enjoy seeing our insight into it, but I am not going to, just sit here and be pissed off every week. Just going to rip off the Band-Aid and be done. But Juicy Boy, I want to thank you for your time. It was 4 hours today, 4 hours that I'll never get back.
Pretty much a 4-hour-long review after that. So
that's it. So please, this is probably our longest review ever. So please let everyone out there know where to find you.
So you can find me on social media. I am at Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, fucking YouTube. I've got my own channel. And the word that you need to type in to find those social media platforms is Juicy Boy. And just in case you don't know how to spell it, that is spelled JOOSEYBOY. Juicy Boy, and I'll see you on social media, folks.
Yep. And Karlifornia WZWA, I'm not going to spell it out. And the only thing I'm going to promote, subscribe to our YouTube, find us on all the other platforms, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just type in WZWA Network if you want to follow us on all of those things. Also, the Rizon Network, RIZON. On IRC, there was a group called #Wrestling. Great bunch of guys. If you want to talk wrestling and you feel nostalgic about IRC or Merc 32, please go on the Rizon Network and hit up that chat room because a bunch of great people. Juicy Boy, thank you so much, bro. Sorry that I'm a negative Nancy, but I don't want to be a negative Nancy anymore. Maybe we'll just review some old shit and then I'll be in a good mood.
Yeah, we'll see. It's been my pleasure, my friend.
Yep. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, everyone out there, for sticking with us. If you have at this point, I'm Karlifornia alongside Juicy Boy. This was our review of Full Gear 2021, and we will see you down the road. Thank you.